If a stunning background was all you needed to make a film hip, then I'd be starring in an epic right now. Unfortunately, there's a bit more to it than that, which is why I've decided to make a series about what's cool in the movies instead. I'll be shooting around the world, sending you cool stories about cool filmmakers who pull off some really cool stunts with me. So stick around. I visit the set of a Latino gangster film, watch a car stunt, and try and copy it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready to go. Plus, I leg it off to Madrid, where Spain's most notorious horror actor scares the shite out of me. But first, I meet a German splatter director and get into a sword fight in honour of his films, called Violent Shit.
With a saw, I ripped off the balls of a guy.
Over the years, New York's been the setting for countless classic films. Who could forget King Kong scrambling up the side of the Empire State Building? Marilyn Monroe's dress billowing up over one of these grills on Lexington Avenue. Or Woody Allen whinging away with the 59th Street Bridge in the background. But it's not just Americans that are mad for Manhattan. A violent young German director called Andreas Schnaz has just made a picture here too. So naturally, I've decided to go and meet him. This big Berliner is one of Germany's most notorious goremeisters. His Violent Shit series of movies is a trilogy of truly gruesome proportions. His latest blood-soaked effort, Violent Shit 4, Nikos the Impaler, is one of the few films set in New York to feature men thrusting swords at each other. I've always been impressed by guys who know how to wield their weapon properly, so I'm going to ask him to teach me how to sword fight for maximum cinematic effect. First, I wanted to know what I was letting myself in for, and if I was likely to escape without any serious damage. Playing with swords, is it dangerous?
It's very dangerous. This sword here.
We have one.
Yes. This sword here.
Let's take a look.
It's very heavy.
Blimey, yeah, that is really heavy.
You have to duck in the right moment.
Oh, God. Okay, Andreas, I want to learn sword fighting.
Oh, yes, Emily. That's not a problem. It's very easy. We go a little bit in position like this. We come together with the swords. Yeah.
That feels good.
Yes. That's nice. A little bit faster. That's great.
So tell me about your latest project, Nikos the Impaler.
In the beginning, it's a little bit like a comedy.
Let's take one more. Okay.
After 30 minutes, the movie turns to absolutely darkness, and the movie becomes very creepy and very violent, of course, too. It's especially a movie for the gore fans. We try a combination of first, second, then you duck.
Oh, okay. So is it 1, 2, duck?
Yes.
Okay, so ducking is very important here, obviously.
Yes. 1, 2, duck. That's nice. That's okay. A little bit faster. That's great.
All this swordplay had given me a taste for gore, and I wanted to know what Andreas's favourite stomach-churning effect was.
With a saw, I ripped off the balls of a guy. This was my first special effect I did at the age of 12 in Violent Shit Part 2.
Right.
There was a real good effect, a very good effect with the balls.
Really?
They look so real. We put a plastic ball with blood, so realistic.
Gut für dicke Eier.
I'd had enough of his pissing about and was ready for a real ruck. I might not be Xena Warrior Princess, but frankly, Andreas wasn't exactly Zorro. I fancied my chances and wanted to show the sausage-eating sword swinger that I was mad, bad, and dangerous to know. Oh dear. Bastard. And I thought I was doing really well. 7 out of 10 at least. Well, Andreas clearly thought differently. I don't know, some people always having to have the final say. Still to come, I hook up with one of Hollywood's butchest stunt women.
I think it's a lot of testosterone that's in my system.
And I meet one of Spain's most terrifying horror stars. When I started out on my adventures for this incredible series, I insisted that I do all my own stunts. Because let's face it, only pussies have a stunt double. So to prove I've no fear, I'm going to jump out of this car moving at an incredibly high speed. So stick around if you want to watch my ass roll. That's right, but before I risk my neck for your entertainment, I tracked down the set of a Latino gangster movie being filmed in San Pedro, just south of Los Angeles, and persuaded the director, Daniel Zarelli, to let me watch him film the type of dangerous car stunt that I was going to shamelessly rip off. The film's called Vengeance, so let's go see how the pros do it.
The car can go actually all the way down about 100 yards back.
After sneaking up as close to the camera as I dared, I discovered that the scene they were about to shoot was an argument inside a posh car where the leading actress gets thrown out of the vehicle.
Get the fuck out, bitch!
Now, that may sound simple,
Quiet on set, please.
but virtually a whole day went by before the stunt was in the can, and it was a tense time for Daniel.
Just a drive-through right now.
More of that in a moment. Since cutting his teeth on over 250 pop videos and setting up his own movie company, aged 24, award-winning director Daniel Zarelli has already made 4 feature films, including this one, Voodoo Tales. Vengeance is his 5th full-length movie. The story is based on a real-life gang war and draws heavily on Daniel's love of gritty urban violence.
With an action film, a gangster film, we're going for a pretty frenetic pace. We've had some pretty amazing shootouts and squibs and blood and stabbings and all sorts of brutal things like that.
When you're shooting a violent scene, do you like to really kind of glorify the violence, or do you like to keep it quite real?
I like it to be real. I've got real LA gangsters in it. And
How'd you get them?
Actually, there's a company here called Suspect Entertainment. They specialize in tattoo, like ex-gangbangers,
No
locations, and they have really hardcore, ex-criminals that are totally professional now, and they've done a great job.
Trust Hollywood to have an agency for ex-con men.
Absolutely.
You don't find them nicking your cutlery and things at the end of the day.
No, these guys have been great, yeah.
Fortunately, the camera didn't go walkies either, but 2 hours into the rehearsals and they still couldn't get the car in the right place.
The car can go actually all the way down about 100 yards back.
Are they going to drive through the shop?
Right now, yeah, they're going to drive through the shop.
Joe to the car. Back up, back up, back up.
Tell me about the stunt you're filming today.
It's more difficult than it looks.
Oh, really? Worst case scenario, what could go wrong?
Well, in this case, if the girl got caught up on the car door as she was coming out, she could get run over.
Ooh, crushed to death under the back wheels. Not exactly what you want to happen to your delicate and irreplaceable leading actress. No, you bring in a stunt double instead. The girl in the wig is the one who's actually got to fall out of the car and get her ass a little bit pulverised.
All right, this is the real one.
I'm gonna vomit.
Quiet on set, please.
They're going for it now.
She's hopefully going to land on her face.
What makes a good stunt woman?
First off, you have to be absolutely ready to do anything. You really have to have a lot of courage.
Okay, so how do you prepare for, say, what you're doing today, which was a car stunt?
I guess I started practicing for it about a month and a half ago.
God.
Yes. And I was literally putting my pads on and throwing myself around the backyard. Making sure I was landing right, making sure I could roll right, making sure that I was keeping my head off the ground and my body in tight so that I wouldn't hurt anything. You can't have that, and then come back. You just have to know you have to go for it.
4 hours into the shoot, and at last it was time for take 1.
Are you guys ready on camera? Action!
Camera problem.
I had the iris open all the way.
Extra scenes.
Good.
Take 2.
Action!
Action, action, action!
Disaster. The door wouldn't open. Okay, the stunt girl can't open the door, so slight hitch.
Let it go and then pull it again.
Okay.
Have to be 2 pulls for it to open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Take 3.
Action!
By now, I was starting to think I could do a better job at this stunt myself. Shit, I think she just hit her head on the door. I heard a thud, definitely. Stunt people get paid per stunt, per fall, so they've got like 2 or 3 goes at this and then that's it. Okay, she made it look easy, but I reckon if I try hard enough, I can pretty much top it.
You all right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. Can I move?
No, I think I could actually pull off falling out of a car. What do you say to that?
You know, it's harder than you think.
Really?
You can get hurt.
I wasn't gonna let a bit of danger worry me, and Daniel's pessimism prompted me to spice things up a little. Call me cocky, but I decided to bet the doubting Thomas that I could do it easy peasy.
How much you want to bet?
How much you got?
How about $500?
$500.
Yep.
$500, I say I can do it.
You got it.
Okay, you're on.
Good luck.
That was more than our dinner money for the rest of the shoot. This is what I was going to try for myself. I needed some last-minute guidance. I've got to do the stunt in a few minutes. So, bearing that in mind, what tips can you give me?
Okay. Basically, you just want to get as far away from the car as you can and roll. Push, drop your shoulder, and roll. It's going to, yeah.
Keeping all your limbs in?
Yeah, keep your limbs in.
What can go wrong then? Worst case scenario.
Okay, worst case scenario, when you're doing a stunt like that, your foot gets caught in the car and the car drags you.
Oh, no.
Worst case scenario.
Oh, God. Worst case. And I was like, yeah, I can do this. You've just done the stunt, and you
Yes.
look like you're on a real buzz. How does it feel once you've done it?
It feels great. I want to go out and do it again. I just get that adrenaline rush going. It's like, oh, let's do another one. Let's do another one. I just, yeah, I think it's a lot of testosterone that's in my system.
I couldn't claim the same hormonal advantage, but in a car park just around the back, I'd organised a rendezvous with some ex-army types. I'd persuaded them to have a go at turning me into a stunt woman. And this is the car I'm going to jump out of. So hang around, because after the break, you'll be able to watch me foolishly risking serious injury. There's only a mat on the floor and I'm nervous already. Plus, I go to Madrid and get the crap scared out of me by Spain's answer to Peter Cushing, Terror Master Paul Naschy. Hello again. If you like your violence on screen rather than down the pub, then stick around because there's loads more still to come. Yes, a Spanish horror actor tortures me with a blindfold, but only after I try my hand at a potentially lethal car stunt.
Your legs could be run over by the back wheels of the car.
Before the break, I went on the set of Vengeance, a Latino gangster film being shot in San Pedro, California. When I was there, I foolishly bet the director, Daniel Zirelli, that I could jump out of a moving car in exactly the same way as his professional stuntwoman. I say I can do it.
You got it.
Okay, you're on.
Good luck.
A stupid idea, perhaps, but you're about to see what happened. I hooked up with some professional stunt trainers. They're all ex-servicemen and have taught countless people to perform the kind of death-defying feats that make action films such fun to watch. You're the expert when it comes to training people to fall out of moving cars. How long does it normally take to train someone to do that?
Well, if we were working with professionals, it would be a couple of weeks that we'd be teaching them. Very gradually getting up to speed. With you, we're going to put you through it all in an hour.
What's the kind of hardest thing to do mentally? I mean, what's the hardest moment? Opening that car door?
No, the hardest moment is the actual jump. A lot of times you'll get the car door open and he'll drive past the mat and you'll still be sitting there. I'm sure that happens with our stuntman even though he's done it so many times. It's that exact moment that you make that leap. That's the hard part.
Have you ever applied these stunts and skills to real-life scenarios?
Oh, well, this is a real-life stunt that we're teaching you.
Really?
I learned this in the Army. It's designed for bodyguards or secret agents, people that are trying to get out of a car that's in an ambush, being hit by bullets. Maybe there's a rocket coming toward the car and you have to bail out of the car quickly. And that's where this originally came from.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
What precautions should I take?
Well, we're going to get you some padding, a helmet, obviously, and some knee pads, elbow pads. But the biggest precaution is to follow instructions exactly to the letter.
What's the worst thing that can go wrong?
The worst thing that can go wrong is that your legs could be run over by the back wheels of the car.
Shit. I think it's time I got suited and booted, and let's go for it.
You ready for this?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Brilliant. Actually, to be honest, I was beginning to regret the whole bet. I know it looks like a pathetically simple stunt, but all day everyone, especially Daniel,
It's your turn.
had been going on about all the damage I could do to myself.
You could really hurt yourself. You could bruise that little figure of yours and snap your little arms like twigs.
Undaunted, I pressed on with the lesson. And
Then you gotta make sure you get your left hand under your right hand.
And that's like that.
Just remember,
Roll on left shoulder.
If you just remember your left arm and shoulder.
So it's like... My trainer warned me if I couldn't land on my left shoulder, I'd break it. It's only a mat on the floor and I'm nervous already. Oh, that's hard. It's harder jumping from the car.
Jump more like this direction.
That, okay.
But then your legs, for some reason, have the tendency to go more that way when they want to just keep going this way.
Before you said you were ready. Now you've seen it done. Are you still ready?
I have little choice but to just go for it, I think.
Right. And that's the good attitude, because make sure you really do go for it. Don't hesitate.
Okay, I'm gonna go for it.
Go, get in that car.
Okay, now the 3 steps. The door is swinging open, your torso is spinning, your feet are following it. It's 1, 2, 3, but you have to turn into one fluid motion.
It's handle first.
You gotta focus.
Okay.
Focus.
Okay.
Okay, let's roll forward. You ready?
Shall I go?
Ready? Go. Go ahead. Get your hand in that door. You're ready. Okay, open that door. Twist that torso. Stay low. Okay, that looks good. Let's go back and do that again.
It's all so fast. So, I'd had a fortnight's training squeezed into half an hour. I wasn't exactly confident, but I wanted that $500. It was time to try the stunt with the car moving.
We're going to do it this time. You're going out of the car from the moving vehicle, and you're going to come up ready to rock, okay? I want you to focus.
Okay.
I think your nerves are getting you a little bit. I want you to focus. No messing around here. This is serious stuff, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Shit, let's do it.
Okay, hand on the door, you swing it open, pivot the body, looking good. Go, go.
Okay, I know I built it up too much. The car was only going 3 miles per hour, but humour me for a second.
Yes! I think that counts that I did it. $500 is coming my way, Daniel. Ka-ching! You lose. I did it! I did it! I did it! I rule! God, I'm so pathetic. I'm sorry, but you should try this sometime. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Show me the money.
That was amazing.
Thank you. 500 biggies. I'm gonna have to count this. Film producers make millions of pounds each year by terrifying the lives out of us, even though we know it's just a bit of fun. But what about real fear? How much fun is that? Well, typically, I've decided to find out, which is why I've come all the way to Madrid to meet a professional terror master who goes by the name of Paul Naschy. One of Europe's most accomplished horror stars, Paul Naschy is Spain's answer to Peter Cushing.
Please, excuse me.
Since the 60s, he's made over 70 films, often dressing up as a werewolf. Watching them now, his movies may make you laugh more than scream, but as I was about to find out, in real life, Paul Naschy is very disturbing. I'd been told to meet him at his favourite bar. I arrived early to give myself time to powder my nose before he showed up. But what I didn't realise was that he'd planned a little surprise.
lo que ella desconoce.
She has no idea that I'm actually here already.
Paul, on meeting you for the first time, you scared me successfully, and I was scared, and then I instantly laughed. Why do people like being scared?
When people see something terrifying on screen, they know it won't happen to them. It's all about releasing tension. That's why people have such a good time, having such a bad time. I love playing werewolves because, you know, they have dual personalities. They're human beings who can just go out for a drink with, say, a girl like you, but when the full moon comes, they turn into monstrous assassins. To me, these mythical fantasy figures are attractive simply because they are completely imaginary.
It's all in the mind. Fear is often more about what you think is there than what really is there. To prove this, Paul blacked out my vision and took me right to what he said was the edge of a very, very deep well. Of course, there was no well, but I didn't know that. Paul had simply put the idea in my mind.
Stop. If you move another inch, you'll fall to your death.
Now, some of you might think that Paul's suggestion was pathetic. But like good horror movies, he'd made me imagine the worst, even though I knew it wasn't real. A film's victim walks down a dark alley and you know something bad's gonna happen, but it still makes you shit a brick when it does. Hence my reaction. Sorry. I wanted to find out whether real fear was fun, and I got the king of werewolves, Paul Naschy, to try and help me, and shit did he scare me. I mean, I know now for a fact that I really get off on fear. In fact, it's confirmed. I get a real adrenaline rush out of having the pants scared off me. Sadly, it's time for me to go, but believe me, this show's been just the tip of the iceberg. Next time I pluck up the courage to audition for the notoriously pervy Italian director Tinto Brass.
I feel something.
I meet New York's hippest new horror director.
Real monsters, real threats, real horror, if you will.
And I take a lesson in scream punch-ups. I feel hard as fuck now. If a stunning background was all you needed to make a film hip, then I'd be starring in an epic right now. Unfortunately, there's a bit more to it than that, which is why I've decided to make a series about what's cool in the movies instead. I'll be shooting around the world, sending you cool stories about cool filmmakers who pull off some really cool stunts with me. So stick around. I visit the set of a Latino gangster film, watch a car stunt, and try and copy it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready to go. Plus, I leg it off to Madrid, where Spain's most notorious horror actor scares the shite out of me. But first, I meet a German splatter director and get into a sword fight in honour of his films, called Violent Shit.
With a saw, I ripped off the balls of a guy.
Over the years, New York's been the setting for countless classic films. Who could forget King Kong scrambling up the side of the Empire State Building? Marilyn Monroe's dress billowing up over one of these grills on Lexington Avenue. Or Woody Allen whinging away with the 59th Street Bridge in the background. But it's not just Americans that are mad for Manhattan. A violent young German director called Andreas Schnaz has just made a picture here too. So naturally, I've decided to go and meet him. This big Berliner is one of Germany's most notorious goremeisters. His Violent Shit series of movies is a trilogy of truly gruesome proportions. His latest blood-soaked effort, Violent Shit 4, Nikos the Impaler, is one of the few films set in New York to feature men thrusting swords at each other. I've always been impressed by guys who know how to wield their weapon properly, so I'm going to ask him to teach me how to sword fight for maximum cinematic effect. First, I wanted to know what I was letting myself in for, and if I was likely to escape without any serious damage.